bad boy on campus. Y'all know me.
From the hottest topics to the wildest stories, you are now tuned in to the #1 podcast in the nation, the Teachers Only Podcast with Eddie B. Welcome, all my teacher peeps, all my teacher friends, and my brothers and sisters in education. How are you? It's your man Eddie B. One more time, coming to you live from the #1 podcast for teachers in America, in the world, and if it's another world, and that one too. It's a Teachers Only Podcast with your boy Eddie B. And I'm checking in with you, hoping everybody's okay. Hope you had a good week. A lot of y'all are on summer break right now. I just want to say congratulations. Some of y'all are teaching summer school. I just want to say good luck, okay? I know you hustling. If you say that you're teaching summer school because you love the kids, I will slap you. I'm going to be honest with you because you're lying, okay? To my people who plan on taking a little short, sweet, cheap vacation somewhere, like to your backyard, hey, light it up, baby. Go to Home Goods, Walmart, they got lights. You can light it up. You can tell people you gone. Send all your district emails to your spam. Don't answer your phone for your family. No, nothing. You deserve at least 48 hours of just you time. You can do whatever you want to do in silence, man. That's what I suggest for every educator in the world. You do that, all right? A little bit about what's going on with me. I'm tired as hell. I'm mad. A lot of things going on. My son, he's taking driver's ed. Well, he's done with driver's ed. He's in his we just got his permit, and we getting all that together right now with the permit. And yeah, I've had 2 or 3 near-death experiences. Because I'm in the driver's side. I'm in the passenger side with him. But now I'm playing. He does pretty good. He's driving around the neighborhood pretty good. And so I'm just sitting there. Actually, I'm surprised at me because I'm not over-parenting him. I thought I'd be in there hollering and going crazy, like, get it together, stop sign, make that left, make that right, speed up. No, I found out if you just relax a little bit and let him go, usually it'll be all right. Usually. But we still going through the proper channels to get him his full license, though. That's happening. Also, I'm sick of some people who don't understand education. So I'm kind of zero tolerance on people who don't understand what teachers go through. So I don't even answer them. Y'all can do that. If y'all catch a hanger, one of my threads or my comments, y'all feel free to answer. If it's somebody on there with some stupidity, they will not get an answer from ADB. It's too much going on. We fighting too hard for a little bitty stuff that we supposed to been had for me to get caught up in conversation with somebody who don't have a clue what educators go through, okay? All right, I'm on my soapbox. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all know we always have a live at 5 guests. Quick briefing. Every now and then I get a post, and with what I do, the algorithm has me on education a lot. So sometimes I'll get teachers that send me videos and footage, local news. Sometimes on my algorithm, I'll get teachers, videos of teachers and stuff about education. And I just so happen to be looking at I think it was a town hall. I mean, that one time. What you call that, Chris?
That was a school board town hall meeting.
Yep. Okay, now you hush. You ain't supposed to be talking. My bad, but I needed your help. I ran across a school board meeting, man. School board, town hall. It's all kind of like the same, a little bit. But I just so happened to hear this man just expressing himself when it was his turn to speak at the school board meeting, and he was very passionate about what he was saying. When I say passionate, I mean cussing. He was going off. He was pissed off. It wasn't no more. It was no negotiation in his voice. He was tired. Something happened to him, and that was the last straw. And that's pretty much what happens when somebody get to that peak. It's pretty much over with. So I didn't know what was going on. I was almost certain that he didn't have no job no more after that. He had to be he didn't want it no more, or he just want to let him know that he just didn't care no more, but he cared about what he went through and he was gonna fight for it. What really got me is when he said something about his health was affected by what had happened to him on the campus, and he felt disrespected and kind of just shunned. He was just forgotten about, pushed to the side. and kind of like you do service for somebody, you do something for somebody for so long, and you do the best. You do the you do one of the best jobs or whatever, and that work just get negated. They look over you, they step over you, and that's with anything. You're gonna feel a certain way. You're gonna be hot. The only thing is everybody don't say nothing, okay? Because we can't say nothing because we are programmed to just take those hits, take those punches, and act like nothing happened, just so we can retain our certification and not get eased out the district with that little strategic thing that they do. But yeah, I ran across this, and dude was so passionate. I had to reach out to him, and I had to get him on the podcast. So without further ado, would y'all please help me in welcoming our guest for today, Chris Dombkowski. Welcome.
Nailed it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Now we had to do this thing all over again, man. Had some technical difficulties, but hey, better better another time than never. Okay. So first of
Yep.
all, tell me tell the people what do you do? How long have you been doing it? As far as education, what do you do for education? How long you been doing it?
All right. So I am or was at this point a life skills teacher for high school at Schertz-Cibolo Universal City School District in Texas. I've been teaching and working with kids on and off since 1999 when I graduated high school. Went directly into an internship working with an after school program and summer program and fell in love with working with kids and just really found a niche with it and really fell in with working with special ed and even behavioral throughout my career. I've had the fortunate long career of an ability to teach in multiple states. My ex-wife was military, so I traveled quite a bit. So I've taught in Colorado, worked on the Air Force Academy and ran youth service, part of youth services for them. I was in New York. I taught at Monroe 2 BOCES as a substitute when I was out of college, teaching special education, middle school behavioral. And then from there went to Texas, or Colorado, oh yeah, from Colorado to Texas, sorry. And actually had two kids of my own and started a business and raised them for a couple years so that we didn't have childcare fees for two boys. And when they were old enough that we were comfortable putting them into preschool, we put them in, and I went back to teaching and went into Juvenile Justice Academy in Texas. And then from there to Ohio, where I was in two different charters teaching behavioral and wide range special education. And then to Texas, where I was in San Antonio for a couple years teaching life skills high school. And then I was in for 6 months worth of life skills middle school. And then I moved over to the district that I ultimately ended at. So I've had some experience all over the
In the neighborhood, they'll call you a teaching OG.
place.
Yeah,
Keeping it up,
man.
man.
That's crazy, man. So you've been dealing with education for quite some time. I graduated in '99 too. Just letting you know. You know what I'm saying? We soldiers
All
of the
right.
same struggle. So if you kind of graduated in '99, you was brought up in a little different era of discipline. Maybe from your
Very much so.
parents or either from just the older generation in that era. Those are the teachers I believe right now to carry that torch of discipline, but you got to be sneaky with it, but you're gonna still get it across. I think the teachers from the '80s that were born in the '80s on back, they are kind of the ones that's kind of holding the, kind of bridging the gap, with making stuff work on campuses. That's what I believe. That's what I know for a fact. The one because we were brought up different. Anyway, and it seemed like the lane you've been in mostly has been special ed and behavioral kids that got the disconnect with having behavior issues. So I'm thinking alternative school or
Hmm.
okay, cool. Okay, that was my first job. I taught at an alternative school, man. Thrown into the fire. I wasn't certified in bad. Okay, I wasn't. I was I was a 438 generalist, and yeah, I did everything except for a subject. I was more of a probation officer, sometimes counselor, all the time dad, parent. I was an enforcer, and it was a high stress level type of job, man, and no one unless you just like you said I mean, some people just gifted to do it. You one of those ones, me. The stress was so tough, man. I couldn't last more than a year. I luckily I got a job that semester. After that, I lasted one semester, and boy, if I'd have came back, I definitely would have left in handcuffs. Definitely in handcuffs
I
from
can
alternative
I can
school.
understand.
All right, so now
Mhm.
let's get to the meat and potatoes of everything. This is why we're here. This is why I got you here, man. In that board meeting, man, tell me that just briefly tell me, um, why were you in that situation? Like what did you do uh for that district or that school, and what happened that
All
got
right.
you to that point. Now we're gonna talk about that point. Don't go off into that point what you was talking about. Tell me how we got there though.
Okay, so I had come to this district in January of 2021.
So this was after the
Yep.
pandemic, right after the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep. Yep. They had called me in, and this is actually my home district. I live there. My kids are here. I am 10 minutes from the school. It was where I wanted to teach. It was, if I was going to stick it out anywhere, it was where I wanted to retire.
got you.
So I was super stoked to get a job offer that definitely was misleading, didn't clarify the things that were going on in the district at all. Had they clarified, I would have had a whole lot more questions. Um, but they left a lot of omissions of why we were looking for a teacher, or the fact that I was like teacher number 3 or 4.
Why did they tell you they were looking for a teacher?
They just needed one for a behavioral room because, or not a behavioral room, but a self-contained room,
Mm-hmm.
because the previous teacher had an incident and had a young child, and she was no longer going to work there.
Oh,
I don't know. That was
you say she hit a young child or had a young child?
no. She has a young child at home, and
Okay.
she apparently did not feel safe. And once I found out why, I mean, it's a pretty rough
Yeah,
situation.
but they didn't say that. They didn't tell you that's
Yeah.
because. Yeah, of course. Continue. I'm listening.
Yeah, so they just kind of told me they had a room with 2 kids in it. One is a tough case, and with what they described and what they were doing, I had an idea of what I thought I was walking into,
Yeah,
and I came into something completely different.
got you. Got
And the funny thing is the one that was the issue when I arrived was not the one that caused the ultimate issue in the end,
you.
but he is the one that caused all the previous issues in that room.
Mm.
So it's a wild trail, but he managed to force one to quit because he injured that person so bad,
Dang.
and another one
Can you tell me how that?
that
Can you tell me how he injured that person? Is that something you can tell
it
me?
was a bite to a very sensitive feminine part
To a woman,
through the clothing. Yes.
he bit her thing.
Mm. Nip, took a
Top
nipple off.
tops. Oh, the up top. Boy, where am I going with this?
Right.
Hey, y'all, Eddie B. I
Yeah,
am
no.
Eddie B. Is a Christian. I'm just trying to get down to the nitty to the what? Gritty. So
Yeah, no.
hey,
He
that
took.
rhyme. Nitty gritty. He bit her in the okie dokie. Now I'm listening. I'm listening. Let me stop. Come on.
But yeah, he bit her nipple off.
No! No!
Yeah, yeah.
No!
I wasn't informed of this, and took a bite to the hand. I think on my second day there, that ended up sending me to the ER. Had a permanent set of teeth around my hand. Well, these for about 6 months.
You talking about
Um,
teeth marks?
yeah, but they just completely bruised, stayed in my
Yeah,
hand
but
for
kind
the
of.
better part of 6 months.
But come on, Chris. At first, you said you had a permanent set of teeth on your hand. I'm like, damn, he bit you that hard. His teeth came out and stuck on your skin. Okay, I got you. I got you. The bite was that bad. The indention
Yeah,
of the teeth was still on you for how long?
yeah. It left. I had a black marks around my hand for about 6 months.
Damn.
It was just a brutal grab right in the soft tissue on the side,
How did you
and
get like
literally
that?
it was
Was you trying to like refrain? Was you trying to restrain him or something?
was trying to play with the plug for the lights that were in the room that they were making me use for this student, because he didn't like the fluorescent lighting, but that was never really the issue.
Mm.
But they were using these Christmas lights, and he would kept playing with them, soaking wet hands, and
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a situation there
yeah.
waiting to happen.
He
So
could
I,
die.
trying to keep that from happening,
Yeah, he could hurt himself.
and just latched onto my hand. My paraprofessional is staring at me, and I'm just like, "Ow, let go, let go!" Like doing the push and trying to get him to release, and I ended up having to just do that pull and yank to try to get him to release, and that was, I believe, the first time I was sent to the ER from that room.
So you went straight to the ER from work.
Yep, they sent me out because it was a bite with an open wound, and they've got to give you antibiotics.
Yeah, because he could have
Yep,
kidneys.
exactly.
Yeah, I got you. Jesus.
But so that was the first one. Now to go along with this, that same student started refusing busing, wouldn't get on the bus, wouldn't go home, wouldn't come to school. So mom started driving him to school, and we would start the transition 35 minutes early before the school day, trying to get him into the building after mom dropped him off.
Mm.
And sometimes it would happen. Sometimes it'd be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock before I'd get him in the classroom.
Stop. So mom would drop him off and she run the hell off. She wouldn't stay and try to help. Okay, that
Correct.
sounded about right.
Um, and then following that up, he started refusing the afternoon bus. So rather than me worrying about, teaching the other kid that was still in my class, I started his transition every day at 2:30. Mind you, school ends at 4:45.
Damn, you gotta get a jump start on trying to get him right.
And I ended up being the bus driver. They made me drive the van. Yep.
So you had to deal with him, then drive with him. Stop playing,
And
man.
this one did not like being transported at all.
Yeah. Okay, now
So, I mean,
let me understand this it was a boy, right? Let me understand this boy. He was sped or behavior or both.
SPED, nonverbal, well, mainly nonverbal behavioral.
Shit, he got his point across to
And
be
he,
nonverbal. He got
yep,
yeah.
and to be fair, oh, sorry.
No, I'm listening. Come on.
So to be fair, he had a couple of bad teachers prior to leading into it, but I can also look at the situations going, well, I don't know what was there. I just know what was being done, and that student had massive food aggression and a lot of things that were all based around PBIS rewards, trying to get him, to perform for food. And I'm not about that. PBIS, the way that they used it there is not what I have encountered elsewhere.
Break down PBIS for people who may be in another state, may use another terminology for for what that
So,
is.
positive behavior intervention system, just
Okay.
a reward system for good
Yeah.
behavior and
The stupid stuff they
follow
have
through
in
on
place,
tasks.
the stupid stuff they have in place to appease kids and kiss their butt
Yep.
to in order for them to do stuff that they supposed to do automatically.
Hmm.
Continue.
So you take a nonverbal student who wants some Cheez-Its and doesn't want to do his work, and he's big enough to hit you,
Yeah.
and big enough to push through the pairs to get to the cabinets, what starts happening? So I walked into that situation from the start with all the other things going on, but I'll just wrap him up. He finished out the school year and ended up going to a different building,
Mm-hmm.
and ended up thriving there because it was a fresh start that was outside of everything that happened in that building. Because the other teacher that he had the run in with also attacked him, but ended up leaving the teacher with a stroke.
Stroke.
So, yeah, so that's a whole big
Bro, we don't get
side
paid
note.
enough.
So, the district secrets that they, don't tell you, but you find out through the grapevine.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't get paid enough to deal with
So,
no stuff like that, bro, for sure.
so let me bring you to where it all happened. So, along with this one in that classroom was what I would refer to, at least back then, as my gentle giant.
Okay.
This boy is 6'5" plus,
Okay.
like 250 plus. He's a big kid.
Okay.
Was a giant teddy bear. for me when I got there. And for the first pretty much, the 6 months that I was there with the other one, at the very end, we had an outburst day, and he ended up hitting me in the face, and I ended up going to the ER for that one.
Like straight
They
punch or
X-rayed
open
that.
hand? I need to know details, man.
Um,
Come on.
Kind of an open hand, just palm to the nose.
And them hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah, that pushes
yeah,
stuff back up in
yeah.
your face, man. And your
Yep.
nose is gristly. That is not no
So
hard
he's
bone right there, broseph. Okay,
no.
all right. So he had an outburst. He had a day. He's off his meds or something.
Yeah, there was a lot of playing jazz with medication. If you work with special education, you find that parents really like to play jazz whenever any kind of behavior changes at home and not factor in anything that the doctors say or what's going on at school. And we end up with the brunt of it all day long with a kid that a lot of times hasn't slept all night, isn't on meds normal, isn't controlled, and was coming in just fired up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got
So basically, from the start of the 22-23 school year, he came in just absolutely on fire. Daily elopements. Elopement is where a student will just bust out of the classroom and go running.
you. Just run up.
Now,
That's what they
it's
call it
real
now.
cute when they're, 10, 12 years old. Not so funny when they're 6 foot plus and bigger than the football players.
Who gonna go get him?
Um,
Who gonna
yeah,
go unelope him? Not me, said Eddie
they
B.
send me.
Mm-mm.
They would send me, and they had a crisis team that would show up 10% of the time
Hold on.
and act
And who
like
was
they were
the
in crisis.
and who was the crisis team? Some more teachers?
The admin,
That's worse.
because they don't have to answer the radio calls.
So, now what did
Now, mind you,
what was the
yeah,
job of the crisis team once they got to the point of contact? What were their job responsibilities?
they were supposed to bring the student back and get him into a calm state and bring him back to the classroom.
Did they have to be gentle with the
Possibly,
bring back? Like if you running
they're
after.
allowed to use restraints.
Okay, okay, okay,
So
okay.
this happened daily throughout the first 5 months of the school year.
First 5 months, he took off running every day for 5 months.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn.
It got to a point where I was telling my admin I was spending less than 30% of my day teaching my classes
Okay.
that I was supposed to be in there.
Cause it's other
And
cause
that,
it's other kids in there. Who had them? Your
yep,
para?
yep, my parents had them all the time.
Po paras, man. They don't get po paras.
No, they don't. So meanwhile, the parents are doing this, and literally every day I am running, roughshod all over this place trying to keep this kid controlled. And he's just a giant. So there's
Yeah.
no stopping. When he starts running, he's going. I
Yeah.
can catch him, but I can't stop him. I'm not going to take him out. So like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
So I was averaging 11 to 17 miles a day on my feet in the building as a teacher in the classroom.
I hope you had your Fitbit on, buddy, because you got your
I
steps
did.
in.
I logged all of it. And the messed up thing was once I took the stress away and ended up getting hurt,
Yeah.
I lost 70 pounds doing 10% of what I used to do.
Damn, man.
Cortisol.
Sheesh. Some people ain't got it as hard as SPED and behavioral teachers, man. They just need to shut up. I've heard stories about people going crazy because they're not getting support from parents and all that. You needed anything. You needed God to descend to help you, broseph. But I'm listening to you, man. People don't have problems like SPED teachers got. I tell them all the time.
All right. So let's come back around on this. He ended up headbutting one of his paras, and she quit.
That'll make a person
She
quit.
was.
A headbutt will make me quit. If I can't headbutt back,
We're getting there. So para quits, and we're running this crazy documentation system. He's running so often that we literally have a QR code to scan to put in all the form information so we can drop it into the IEP in the afternoon
uh,
because it's happening that frequently.
that much. Hey, too much to type.
but it's but
Scan.
it's but it's just his behavior. It's not anything else. It's just what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
That's what they tell us. So on this last, we're going to go right to this last. Actually, 2 days beforehand, I went into my principal and had a breakdown. I'm not even going to lie,
Hmm.
because of the stress that I was having there from constantly running after this kid, getting hit all day long, because he's not the only one. I got others that are hitters as well, but
Damn.
this one is, running me ragged. And I asked her to enact safe schools. If you are in Texas, safe schools is supposed to be something we as teachers can have enacted if the environment is unsafe. We're supposed to be able to do that regardless of special education to allow for time to review and create a safe alternative or a plan for the student.
Okay.
And I sat down with this principal who told me the district didn't care, it wasn't going to get better,
No,
and
that's
then proceeded to tell me all about.
this. What the principals told you? Now, why would they say the district? Now, why would they even say that?
Because she actually had a really bad district relationship with the special ed office. So she wasn't actually relaying all the problems I don't think that were going on
Okay, so she was
through
just saying
sources of
something because she was
information.
just detached.
Yep. So she said, she told me, I'm going to be a real estate agent. You should look into that. And that was it. She went in and had safe schools, wouldn't do any of it.
Wait, hold tight, hold tight. Your admin told you, hey, I'm gonna be done with this anyway. I'm in real estate school. I don't get. Hey, look. This is what I want you to tell you to tell
Yeah.
them. Admin told you that, and they was gonna be
Yeah.
done. Hey, when you know you got somewhere else to go, you start doing stuff that you always wanted to do, especially if you're on the campus. Hey man, I hate to say it, but I love to see it. I love to see when somebody go off because they had something else that they can't that the district can't mess up, and boom boom boom. But that was messed up because she told you that it was. I'm a parent. I'm just paraphrasing. Was it a she?
No. Yeah. Well,
Okay,
yeah.
a woman. Okay, it was a woman. Okay, that told you that, and also gave you some advice like, hey, you should try it too. Cause I'm listening, man. This is juicy.
So, so we go 2 days beyond this, and I miss a radio call. He had gone on one of his runs through the building, and I got called out from my classroom that I was teaching in for a student that's on my caseload, but not in my class during this time frame.
Hmm.
And it's the same one, and there's like six admin at the end of the hallway, including the football coach
The
and
crisis
this
team.
whole
The crisis
crisis
team.
team, the crisis team.
Okay, come on.
And they bring this big guy back and just kind of do a handoff down the hall. And he's calm now, and I was like, this happens every day, so I didn't. There was no extra thought in this. So I walk up, and he's as calm as could be,
Hmm.
and I do shoulder rubs for pressure on him. That's what was one of the things that he always liked.
Okay.
And as we were walking to the room, he reached across and grabbed my arms and leaned forward like he was going to bite me.
Okay.
Put his put his mouth down, and I pulled my arms back. And when I did that, he swung his head back and headbutted me in the right eye. And I was against the edge of a wall, so I hit the wall and hit the floor.
So you got hit 3 times. Him, the
Yep,
wall, then the flow.
yep.
Damn. You was going in for the rub? You was going in for the massage? He
Yeah,
like,
just keeping him calm. I was kind of
yeah.
adjacent side to him, but he's taller than me, so he literally just grabbed me.
Mm.
I
I'm
mean, I
listening.
hate to say it, but I mean, it seems intentful.
Shit.
So this happens, and I'm laying on the floor. I kind of stagger up. I remember bits and pieces of the hallway. They took me to the nursing station and gave me Tylenol and sent me over to the main office to do paperwork to go to the ER.
Fuck paperwork. My bad. My bad. I'm supposed to be cussing.
So they sent me, and I drive myself to the ER. I vomited in the parking lot, got to the ER, and the doctor looked at me and said, "You're going to be out for at least 5 days."
Uh,
And I'm at the beginning of this, still adrenaline,
yeah.
loaded. So I'm like, Jesus, I've got IEPs to do and shit. Like, I can't do this,
Yeah.
but at the time you're not thinking, and I didn't catch it, but I had called my wife, who was my fiance at the time,
Okay.
and talked to her during, getting to the car and leaving to go over there. And I don't remember the conversation, but she said I didn't sound anything like myself.
Mm.
Um, and from there forward, it's just been an interesting road. It's if you don't understand what an invisible injury is, it's hard to see me do this or see me look like this
Mm-hmm.
and say that I have an injury. But where it happens is if you put me in public where there's noise around me, I'm now like one of my students.
Mm.
I can't focus. I can't hear. I go deaf. And it's not like we can come back to a conversation. Like if I'm talking to you and like, something over here happens, it's akin to being blackout drunk. It's gone.
Mm.
So I have that. I lost part of my peripheral on my left side, which is caused the doctors to tell me I can't drive. I can't see until it's like up here. So I have no left side peripheral, like out the left side window, your driver's side of your car.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't see anything.
And the most of the haters come from your left side. I'm there because you can't even see your haters
Mhm.
coming. Haters. Come on, man. I'm listening. This is crazy.
So I got injured and he sent me home that day. And we just assumed it was going to be a 5-day thing at the very beginning. And I was out of it, but I mean, who wouldn't be?
Right.
And during that time period, my function just started to slowly drop. My memory was getting really bad. My speech got really stuttery,
Mm.
or I wouldn't really talk much at all, and just was completely shut down. And it kind of went that way for about the first 6 months.
And this is something.
Um,
This is something that was unbeknownst to you. Like you have never
mhm.
dealt with anything like this before in your life.
No.
It's just something that just happened, and you didn't
Yep.
even realize it was happening. The doctors didn't diagnose you and say, oh, "This is about to happen to you." This is some stuff that
Yeah.
just started happening because of what happened.
hmm So along with this, they put me on workers' compensation. If you're in Texas, carry extra insurance because they cover nothing.
Hmm.
It took them until February to get me an MRI, and I was hurt November 8th. That was the first diagnostic that was not from a drop in urgent care
Wow.
because workers kept denying everything.
They gonna do that. That's
I've
their
only
job.
and I've
Stupid.
only had 18 days of neurocognitive therapy since this injury happened, even though the doctors have recommended hundreds of days because workers' compensation here chooses to fight and the district doesn't want to stand up to help against their insurance agent or anything else at all.
They working together. What they gonna
And
stand up to their partners for? That's their
and
friends.
they know that I have lots of secrets. And they know that I've been a very busy boy for the last 2 years when I'm functional.
Yeah, and they gonna try everything they can to discredit you. You know how they do it to discredit
Mm-hmm.
you. To what they do, that character assassination. Make people think like you this worst person when they know that you got the truth. I'm listening, man.
So I took the injury. In the first 5 days, they texted me 7 times for work, called me like 6 times for different things, even though I was on injury, and continued to do so on and off for probably the first 3 months.
Mm.
Uh, and no respect to the injury, no understanding of what was going on, never communicated with me outside of meeting those things early on, and basically didn't follow any of their own protocols.
Of course.
They were so afraid to talk to me that my paraprofessional had a secondary incident and died. Nobody had the courtesy to let me know,
Hmm.
so I couldn't even pay respects.
You say died? Whoa,
Yep,
whoa, whoa! Back it up, back it up, back it up. So this same para who was there when you had the incident, or this was somebody else?
that's another one.
Another para came in and had an incident and died because of the
Had
injuries.
an incident, but then died later and I've been given bits and pieces, but I can't openly speculate
I
somewhere in public.
I got you. We're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave that alone. But it could have been because of and some long term effects. But I get it. I get it. I'm with you. We're gonna leave that alone. But damn, they didn't even call and tell you that this person who you closely work with passed.
Mhm.
Probably thinking that you was gonna connect some dots or something, and ultimately try to blame them or something like that. But that's unethical, man. That's you have no. I'm gonna shut up, man. I guess friendship and business don't go together, but at some point, um, what you call it, morals should play some type of note in what we do, man. I don't care if it's cutthroat business, man. Moral has to shine through at some point, man. If not, man, I just don't really think you have a soul, man. Like if your morality don't kick in somewhere, if it don't bother you a little bit, that's a problem, man. That's a problem.
I guess that's what gets me in this situation is we'll throw a party for a principal who's under investigation when they're retired. We'll do all sorts of crazy going aways for people who just randomly up and quit and go somewhere. But we won't even check in on somebody that was life changingly assaulted in your classroom. Never once, not a letter, not a call, not a check in, not are you okay? Nothing from the district, nothing from the board, nothing because they know I have proof of everything that I claim. And at some point, some lawyer somewhere is going to be willing to listen
Hmm.
because I have proof miles long that they ignored a very dangerous situation.
Yeah, just like the man the telltale sign of like what you going through, man. When that teacher in Newport News got shot by the 6 year old first grader. She's having a fight, and they saying that this is like a work hazard, and oh my god, it's coming out when they're at fault. I mean when they are at fault. I mean the district. When I say they gonna put man. It lets you know that it's not about the kids. It's a number system. How many kids show up and stay there? That's how they get money, and however they fund it. I think it's from the government. I don't know who funds it, but man, education is a business, man. It is a
Mm-hmm.
business building,
It's a
and
racket.
and we are we are expendable, dude. They treat us
Yep.
like we are a herd of cattle. You feel me? Like if anything happens, or we supposed to feel like we get anything, just get anything back, or something happens to where we should be able to say something. Oh, they muzzle you. Oh, they'll let you know where they let you know where you really stand with them when stuff like this happens. See, it don't happen all the time to a lot of teachers, so that's why they don't care and they don't sympathize to when it happens. That's why you get some stupid teachers that might say, "Oh, he was a troublemaker. Oh, all he had to do was he should have." Shut the hell up. Shut the hell
Yep.
up. Every situation is different, and everybody is stressing out about something on campus. I guarantee you. That's why my main argument is to educators too. Everybody should side with what you're going through. I shouldn't have not one person in my DM talking, hey, you might not know the whole story. Damn the whole story. This man got knocked out at work. Damn. I don't care where you at. You got knocked out at work. Something happened that wasn't supposed to happen, and you not at fault. You ain't jump up and ask, hey, I'm about to whoop your ass. You ain't say that. You was doing your
Yeah.
job, and some stuff got passed off to you, and boom, this happened. And while you off, most stuff happened. So I don't want to hear nobody with nothing negative to say about any educator that been through something traumatic and dealing with it. Because right now, when that happens, unfortunately, you're a poster child or just a starting point to an argument that we supposed to been had. We supposed to been came together and had this argument, or just galvanized and organized against this damn tyrant we call a district, bro, it's really giving tyrant for real. Like I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you speak, man, but like hearing this and hearing how they come at you, they come at teachers for lesser stuff, when they supposed to get stuff. Like I had Bell's palsy, you know what I'm saying, from stressed out from teaching, right? They gave me that same stupid, Mr. Brown, you just come back when you need to come back. When my days were up, it was a new tune. They came at me with
Yeah,
everything. Yeah, they came at me with everything, right? I felt, I was so pissed off. I was stressed at first, but then I just became this, okay, okay. You don't give a damn? I don't give a damn. I started coming to work in a t-shirt, jeans, chain on with shorts. I mean, no, t-shirt, jeans, and tennis shoes with a chain on. I ain't care. One lady say, "Are you the teacher of record?" I'm like, "What you mean? Am I the teacher here?" "Yes, I am. Feel free to come in and you can
exactly.
see how I don't give a damn." But anyway, that was for something small like that. You got injured. Your life was altered behind something that happened, and basically that's malpractice. You feel me? In the teaching
Yeah.
world, that's just like they something they were supposed to do and they didn't provide a certain type of security for you, and now they trying to cover themselves. Yeah, I'm listening to you. I'm pissed off. Okay. Now let's get to the actual what I seen. When I saw when you finally all this happened to you, they did this to you, or they, kind of backed off away from you and was in hopes that everything would just go up under the radar, just fly under the rug, just sweep it under the rug, you know, out of sight, out of mind type thing. We don't see him, we don't got to hear from him, don't nobody know nothing, no harm, no foul, right? But you
Yep.
pop back up at the board meeting. Did they know you were coming? Cool. Now set the scene. Now what I saw was a dude who was at the end of it. You was at the end of what it was in the beginning of this. I don't give a damn. You finna know how you handle me, and I hope the world find out too.
So I want to preface this a little bit. I led into this meeting letting them really know I was coming. I had spent 2 years on Facebook giving them the opportunity and giving them a countdown to, if we are not going to fix any of this, I'm going to pull my nuclear options. And instead of balling up and going to this thing where they were going to fire me anyways, which they did at the end of that meeting by name on the internet, I'm fine with it. Um, so instead of just balling up, I made a giant advertisement for it and called it my refirement ceremony. REFIREMENT. And then I put it all over Facebook and X and TikTok and everywhere else. And I got 2,000 plus people to look at their live stream as opposed to the normal 30. Got it shared all over the place. Got it picked up by one guy over here named Eddie B, and gave me the hookup. And I know that that first one's been seen over 1 million times between all of the sites, easily. What you don't know is I've also been back since. But yep. But let me go back to the one that you saw me at. Was a culmination of 2 years of trying to get help, realizing that I can't currently drive. My function is different. And to go along with this, the things that y'all wouldn't know is it changed my personality 100%. I am a completely different person than I was before. Former me, if I'd have been in this situation, probably would have lost my mind by now and gone postal on these people. I'm very zen about this because I'm being very methodical about what I do. If I don't, get taken care of in this, I will find ways to get help. But I'm going to make sure that you remember me enough that you don't do this to anybody ever again. And that's a promise that I made to them is I'm going to teach the best lesson that I ever teach on my way out. And I'm going to make sure that they don't keep doing this because I've got a whole roundup of teachers that have been injured in districts around Texas, including mine. I've got admin that are currently active in the district that have complaints. I have a whole lot of parents with physically and sexually assaulted children who've been swept under the rug. And I've put together a meeting place for them on Facebook and helping them get answers. And when we went back to that second meeting, as well as that first meeting, there was a mother that spoke as well that has been helping with me. And she went up and talked about her daughter that was raped in both these events, and then another one that I put up the other day. And the district just completely ignores her, refuses to speak to her, just like me, says that because it's a personnel issue, they will not speak about it in a public forum, but they also won't speak with any of us in a private forum. They won't speak to any of us at all, and basically have set themselves up to be the poster child of why school choice is going to hurt public schools because they're setting themselves up to fail. And I hate it. I don't want to see these districts like this. I don't want to see kids getting hurt. I don't want to see teachers getting hurt. I don't want to see kids hurting teachers. We're going to have that. But what I want to see is when it happens that we get help. They take care of people. I came to work. That's all I ever did. I came to work, did my job, never had a bad write up, no bad reviews, nothing. And shoot, I came from Ohio on a distinguished review. We have an O test there, which is like T test here. I went 4 years without having to be reviewed. So, I mean, I've done well in the past. And I like to innovate in my classrooms. I spend a lot of time teaching outside the box. You see special needs kids, they talk about them out in public and all things like, oh, they can't achieve anything. I'm not going to get into the political aspects right now, but what they're saying with autism and other things. I can tell you that I taught those kids how to trade stocks. I've taught them how to cook meals. And I'm not talking mac and cheese. I'm talking we taught them how to make all sorts of fancy things from scratch. Taught them how to make fish, cut sushi, how to make garden boxes. We took them to work sites and job sites. We worked at HEB, Walgreens. These are the kind of activities that I did. And I ran my classroom instead of having positive behavioral interventions. I ran with a paycheck. You come to work, you get a paycheck. You do extra work, you do answers, you get overtime. End of the week, you go to the class store and you buy something with it, or you buy yourself some time or whatever you need. But then you learn that you can save it up, and then I let the kids buy a party as a group, and they can learn to budget their money for a party as opposed to spending money for little chips and things here and there. And the whole idea was to just create a full encompassing real life type classroom. If you've got life skills, you're teaching these kids how to live. You damn well got to teach them how to manage money. And, I tried to make sure that I was teaching in that manner, and I just never got a chance to show it to this district or those kids. And I mean, I feel bad for the students that I had because they missed out on a year worth of school
Yeah.
because, half of the year I was fixing fires and the other half I was gone.
Yeah.
And I've been gone ever since.
Yeah, usually in your position, they really adopt that babysitter mentality. You really are keeping them in line and
Hmm.
you know, out of what could happen if it goes wrong. Y'all really are y'all the firefighters on campuses. Yeah, I'm listening.
So, I mean, it's just an unfortunate thing. I miss aspects of it.
Hmm. Yeah,
But after having the opportunity to sit outside and look in, I sure wouldn't walk back into that rat's nest.
straight up, I feel you on that.
And
Especially
I have
knowing
no
you
idea what I'm
handle
gonna
it like
do.
that. Especially knowing
I'm
how to
still
handle it.
chasing. Oh,
No, 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 no. See, I was just saying, especially you wouldn't go back into that, especially now knowing how they.
yeah, and I can't. I mean, if I take another hit, I can have. I'm already massively increased potential for dementia. It follows all this part of the injury, and when I say that, I can't function in public environments. There's a lot of other things that go along with this. There are days where my brain shuts down. I can't work on certain things. Like I can want to do something. It's not a laziness. It's a my brain will not engage to do task X. And it's, I can't even think my way through it. I mean, it can be as simple at times as cooking meals that I've cooked forever. And I just cannot get the steps together. And that's, the thing with this type of injury is head injuries are extremely varied. There's very little research on them. There's even fewer doctors. And then you can count down on one finger how many neuro docs are workers' comp. And that's the problem is the situation that I'm in is, I'm going to end up having to go somewhere for outside treatment because they've just basically washed their hands. I had a appeal with workers' comp and that's moving forward as of right now. But beyond that, I really don't know. I mean, we are lucky enough that my wife has a business and we make a little money on the side there, but I haven't taken a paycheck from a district since November.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I survived.
Yeah, yeah, and that's all we. If you don't learn nothing from teaching, man, you do learn to survive by
Yep.
any means necessary. That's why we have 2 or 3 jobs outside of education that nobody know about. I tell everybody, teaching is the one job that will help you run into your passion. You gonna find out what your passion is, cause
Because you're going to
teaching
want to run to it.
teaching will push you towards your passion. Yeah. We don't have a whole lot of time left, man. I kind of wonder, man. So basically, when you got to that board meeting, you let them have it about the stuff that you told me about, and they were quiet. They were quiet like they always do because they really have nothing to say. They were probably just sitting down strategically trying to figure out. Well, they probably knew what they was going to do to you. They knew they weren't going to let you back because of you were telling the truth. Anybody who tell the truth, they get pushed out. I have a mentor. They call him the troublemaker. He is. He go to districts and he stirs it up. But he's one of those bold ones who don't care about it. He does care about inner city education. Cares about kids who wouldn't necessarily get the type of afforded the same opportunities as kids across the way. You know, yeah, and I love him for that though. And people will disassociate themselves from me because I won't disassociate myself from him. I'm down with what he believes in because he's strong about it, right? And I've had people
Mm-hmm.
who have taken their position over what the right position is supposed to be. They're taking a little bit more change that's given to them. They don't know their job can be gone quick too. From a stroke of a pen, a difference of opinion, association. That's why that's why I respect this, and that's me for sure.
Can I tell you one thing? You hit one thing for me. The vast majority of where I taught was inner city.
Okay.
Um, Suburbia took me out.
Yeah.
I'm
Damn.
going to tell you right now,
That's crazy.
the
That's
the expect
crazy.
out of everywhere I've ever taught, the behavior in this district is by far, bar none, the worst, most volatile that I have seen. I taught in downtown San Antonio. I taught in downtown Dayton, Ohio.
You taught in the barrio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I taught at JJA in downtown San Antonio.
Okay. I know a little something about that.
Burbank.
I know a little something. Yeah, yeah. My son is from San Antonio. My son lives in San Antonio. My little one.
Yeah. So I mean, like I'm not afraid of the environments. It's just
Yeah.
apparently if you get hit just the right way, that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's sad. That's crazy, man. But you say you dealt with all the inner city stuff and you were okay. Suburbia is
Mhm.
what the hey, that's a book. That's a book right there, bro. So that's a book right
Yep.
there. Okay. Real fast, man. I got this thing. I like to call it when the bell ring. Okay. So this is when the bell ring. A couple of questions for you, man. Hypothetically speaking, not saying you do this, but light or dark liquor.
Definitely like.
Definitely light. You a light man. You a clear man. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Longer summers or 4-day weekends.
4-day weekends.
4-day weekends. Okay. What do you think all teachers need to begin with? A first year teacher. What does every first year teacher need to be successful?
10 years of experience.
Damn. Okay. Okay. In
I
quality.
think I think with
No, I'm listening.
if I could answer that honestly, come in with the idea that you're going to change the idea.
Mm. Now,
That's sorry,
you
that was my
said
speech.
something. Come in with the idea that you can change the idea.
It
Man,
actually
that's
works.
big. That's big words right there, bro. That need to be on a T-shirt. Come in with the idea that you can change the idea. That's major.
That actually does sound really good. I like
Yeah, I'm gonna shut up about it. That's
it.
yours. I'm not even. I don't even want to air this part. Somebody gonna take that. Yeah, come in with the
All
idea
right,
that you
well
can
here,
change the idea. I'm listening.
you asked me, what would I tell a first year?
Yeah, but what do a first year
Come in with
teacher
the belief
need to
that you
know?
can change the world, but don't burn yourself to the ground trying to do it.
Mm. I used to tell the joke all
Because
the
if you
time.
come
You
in,
can't save everybody.
yep,
It's like casualties of war. Somebody not gonna make it, and there's nothing you can do about that. What you did about it already was what you did. That was more than enough, man. But we think we can save the world sometimes as educators because we always figure it out. They give us nothing, and we always make something out of it. I guarantee you, there's teachers right now like, man, that is the truth. They'll give us a kid in sixth grade. He's reading at a third grade level. We'll at least get him to a fourth grade level before, and we not even teaching reading. We in science,
hmm
but we see the gap, and we'll feel a need, maybe some extra work, and yeah, we don't want to do it, but it's fulfilling to help a little bit. We be tired and stressed out, but it's fulfilling to help a little bit, and we'll figure it out that part. But the fact that they didn't get to a sixth grade reading level, they didn't accomplish nothing. But see, they don't
yep,
get off into what how far they really were raised up by educators who just you gave nothing to, and they made something sweet out of this sour situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's
yep.
big. Okay, last one. If you had your own school, if you had your own school and you had control of like from the rooter to the tutor of this school, what would be the main thing that you would build this school on?
I want an experiential Montessori for secondary.
Experiential Montessori for secondary. Break that down.
Think about integration of AI, but unobtrusively. So you create your base lessons that you work with your students and you get them into an AI program and you facilitate throughout the room. They can move at their pace, but the AI does the adaptation instead of you killing yourself to do it. And it allows you to then become the frontline teacher and facilitate the growth as opposed to adapting curriculum. Then you take the last 2 days of the week, or even better, you split Monday, Friday after you get a few weeks into the year, and you create lab days. And you take those things that you're learning in class and you integrate them. So say that you're doing a science lesson and a social studies lesson on pilgrims, and you're in earth science and whatever. We'll just kind of spread around that way. So we start out, we'll learn about the pilgrims. We can figure out what they're eating. Okay, well, we know what they ate. Let's look into a garden, what it takes to make a garden. Okay, so we took the garden. We go, okay, we want to grow a garden and see what the pilgrims ate. Well, we need a garden box. Well, how do we do that? Okay, well, we'll go into some old school technology class. I'll bring a saw in and we'll cut and make garden boxes. And then we'll grow food. And we'll also dress up the campus at the same time because we have these beautiful gardens. And then from there, we can take those into life skills and we can cook our food, learn the nutrition off of it. You can then build your base off of that. And then you go into life skills from that. You cook your food, you clean it up. Then you can go into an HEB app and say, okay, I'm living at home on my own and I don't have a garden yet. What would it cost me to make this? And then we go in and we figure out what the cost is to make it. And then all of that is happening in a classroom where you're making money as a paycheck in the classroom so that when you have a student that super outruns the rest of the class, you can not only give them enrichment work, but they can use their time in a Montessori school to explore something that's more fitting for them. And then you take that into your high school years, instead of having your junior and senior year as they are normally, pinpoint two directions for your college major or your secondary or your tech school or whatever you think you might want to do. And let's have a little foot wedding. So then you can find out before you blow money on an education if you want to go do that. Give them experience in their later years of high school so that they can have more pertinent training and more directive flow into the future. Granted, I also don't want worker bees. So let's have thinkers. And that's the idea with a Montessori, because you have that all encompassing, but also growing into what they're interested in. So that way you're focusing. And when you do that, it takes the behavioral problems and reduces them greatly because they're working at their own pace. They're getting scaffolded help immediately as opposed to waiting for a wandering teacher. And then you're actually facilitating the learning and the experience of the lesson as opposed to the pen to paper creation of 6 plus 5 because the computer does it for
And you say this brain injury. Say, homie.
you. I spent 2 years writing this.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You sure they didn't boost your? You sure this injury didn't boost your stuff up? Boy, you sound like the young Sheldon's dad. Man, you broke down a Montessori, what they hope to be, from the rooty to the tooty. You started from the top and you backtracked, then brought it back up to the middle, backtracked the middle, brought it back up to the top, brought it to the middle, to the bottom, and back to the middle. I'm like, I had to take another sip. I say this man has put a whole school curriculum, drive, objective, everything together. Hey, look, man, I will say this, man. From the moment you told me that the stuff that you did with your SPED teacher, the stuff that from the moment you told me what you did with your SPED kids, and your behavioral problem kids in the inner city, I don't know where you were, how y'all were making stuff and doing stuff and field trips and stuff like that. You was going above and beyond, in a position where that is not probably required. So whatever whoever did what they did, how they handle you, man. They didn't just handle a regular educator, man. You were exceptional at what you did, and I didn't have to be around you to figure that out from just hearing the conversation, man. Thank you so much for giving me this convo and the type of educator that you were or are, for the kids who get pushed to the side or in the back of a building or a separate building, or you know thrown away by society, thinking that they can only be so much. You giving hope to that area, and and my only hope is that somebody will give you a shot that will really nurture and kind of cultivate what your ideas are and how you are, and support you in that type of environment. I really think you can go back and do it. I don't know how traumatized you are from suburbia, what they did, but I'm hoping that there's a situation, maybe managerial, or maybe you can oversee, or just some type of mentoring SPED teachers. I could just see SPED teachers hitting you up like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? I mean, I don't know, business wise, that's a whole nother business for you, man. For sure, for sure.
I've been debating on looking into advocacy as well because what better way to help them by also sticking it to the people that cause the problems?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So, hey, I know I know you have ways for people to reach out to you. I know you have I don't know if you have a GoFundMe or a way to receive funds. You have a way to receive funds though, or way
Uh,
for people to follow you and see what you got going on. I
yeah,
know. Yeah.
yeah,
I know
Facebook
you
for
got a good
sure.
household and everything. Your wife is holding it down right now, but y'all are in transition too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do what I can to help. You know me. I'm gonna do what
Appreciate
I
it.
can to help because you are a man. And you the man of the house still, and that's not your fault. You feel me? So, how can people follow you, reach out to you? Maybe they want to ask you a question. Some SPED teachers they may want to, kind of, pick your brain on some stuff that they probably could implement in what they do every day.
Sure. So you can find me on Facebook. I'm actually under my name. It was my personal page, but it's far from that at this point. My name is Chris, Chris. Last name is Domkowski, Domkowski. Dombkowski. I'm on Instagram as the underscore broken underscore teacher 1122. And then I am also on TikTok as the broken teacher. Facebook is by far the most regularly updated right now because we're dealing with local stuff. As the national stuff comes around again, I'll be back on the other two more often. My biggest thing is like videos for me are not normal, so I got to start trying to make some more. But it's something that I hadn't been doing a whole lot of. I could do digital videos, but just myself is not a thing I usually like to do.
Gotcha. Well, hey, say everybody, this has been another episode of the Teachers Only podcast with your boy Eddie B, man. My special guest today, Chris Dombkowski. Shed a lot of light on what's going on in education as far as SPED and dealing with behavioral situations, kids and the educators that are in those situations. They are exceptional, and they put up with a lot that we overlook or just don't pay attention to. So if you see a SPED teacher, if you are drop by their room every now and then. I know school is out for a lot of people, but check on them. Check on the teachers who deal with the kids uh, who regular ed teachers don't deal with. All right, the problems, the trouble kids, the ones that have to learn in a different type of environment. Just know that it's rough on the people who have to teach them though. So hey, if you stressed out, just know that stress is a choice, man. You can choose to say hell no. Okay, and I'm telling you that from experience. I've had to do it. Hell, I had to do it today. I almost stressed out, but I said hell no, I'm not doing it. I'd rather you drink than the stress. Okay, sip, don't trip. Okay, this has been your boy Eddie B. Teachers Only podcast one more time. Hey, give it up one more time for my guest, the very exceptional SPED teacher slash behavioral guru, Chris Dombkowski. Reach out to him if you got questions, man. Hit me up on my website. I'll be performing. We have the all new If These Classroom Walls Could Talk tour. All right. I'll be in Dania Beach, Florida. June 28th, man. Get your tickets to that. I'll be there. It's a casino. Come on, man. Summertime. Hey, what way to do it? Summertime. Get your casino on and watch your boy Eddie B act up. All right. He's on the podcast. Boy Eddie B. I love y'all, man. Till next time. Hey, Chris, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.